Good evening, everybody. How's it going?
Howdy, howdy. Is that a bear hat?
Yeah, it's got some ears on it. That's the good thing about having kids is that they have like a lot of crazy hats. And
Uh-huh.
I realized earlier I was like, I gotta pick a hat for tonight, and I just went downstairs and looked in all the winter gear, and this was on top. I'm like, oh, that works.
So even though that's for one of your kids, it fits your head.
Yeah, it's a little tight, but it's not so bad.
Yeah. Maybe it'll help you get over your cold.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta let everybody know that last night, as I was wrapping up the episode, I started kind of coming down with a little bit of cold, so I'm a little congested, and I'm kind of dragging today, so I apologize for my lack of enthusiasm at times. But hopefully the game, which I've never played before, Metal Wolf Chaos, will make up for my lack of excitement at times.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not surprising you've not played it before because I mean it was for whatever dumb reason a original Xbox Japan exclusive.
Yeah.
I'm really bummed that I guess there's no Xbox One version of this, or at least not physical,
Mm-hmm.
because like that's what I would have preferred to have bought it for, just because
version,
it's more appropriate.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a digital version of it, but I might be wrong. I don't really know what to expect. I mean, it has this game has a reputation, but I know very, very little about it. Like I may have.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen like a bit of a stream of it before, but
Okay.
I mean, I definitely, I mean, I don't know how good of a game it is, but I know that it's absolutely absurd premise is the main reason that it's famous, or at least I assume that's the main reason it's famous.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We're gonna see. We're gonna see what happens. We're gonna see what happens. Someone, Jeff O is wondering like what N64 game is behind you. Why do you got a Mario Kart wheel?
That is not an N64 game. That is
I can't see it
a
at all.
ukulele box. This is not the limited run ukulele box. This is John Linneman gave this to me. It's
Yeah, when you held that up to the camera, it immediately was completely glared out. That's okay. Now you can see it.
Cleared out.
Glare,
what?
like the glare on the box protector.
It's got a Super Nintendo style manual.
That's cool.
In it.
It's signed by everybody.
It's signed by the Platonic team.
Is it like really signed, or is it?
Yeah, it's really signed. I mean, I think when John visited them, I think they gave this to him.
They gave it to him, or they gave it to him for?
Or I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the details are.
That's pretty cool.
Maybe he got two.
Maybe. All right, I'm gonna switch over to the game. There it is. There we go. So I don't know what to expect. I wouldn't expect any high level play.
All these boxes are behind me is because a couple of weeks ago I was doing some shelf reorganization. And these things needed to come off, and I've yet to find a proper place for them. I look a little cramped in my window. You might want to move me down a little bit.
All right, looks like we got a donation there. If you want to do that.
Oh, we got $5 from Jukuse. Thank you. Say, hey guys, thanks for the Mega SD episode or mine today, and I'm excited to load up Earthworm Jim Special Edition first thing. Any other Jim fans? Earthworm Jim is a game I like to watch, but I've never particularly enjoyed playing because I have a hard time like kind of telling like where the ground is, like the way that the artwork is drawn. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm going to have to pull the trigger on a Mega SD sometime too. I mean, it just feels like something that is going to be really useful to have for the long term. Oh, we got $2 from Aaron Welsh. Thank you. Asking if we're going to Portland Retro Gaming this year. I wish. We've never been. It's really just a cost thing, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, we would love to go, but
we were invited, but we just couldn't make it work this year.
Right.
We have some guests approaching at 2 o'clock.
This is an interesting pre-title screen intro.
What a big welcome. I'll make you just like perforated cheese. Bingo.
Oh, it seems like they love you so much. They're not gonna let you go.
Yeah, I don't have the strongest desire for Sega CD games either, but I would like access to them. You know, it's not a high priority. I mean, I've got a Sega CD and I've got a few games. I would hate to lose access to Sega CD someday just because of, you know, problems with the system, you know, problems with apparently.
We got a $2 donation in the window there, it looks like.
Oh, let me pause it so I don't miss it. Thank you. Jonathan Henson with $2. Thank you. Fantastic Mega SD video. Do you guys have any experience with collection of mana for Switch, specifically the emulation or video scaling accuracy? We both have got it. I have only loaded up so far Final Fantasy Adventure, because that's actually the first version of Final Fantasy Adventure, other than Sword of Mana, if you want to count that. First version. I don't own a cartridge of Final Fantasy Adventure. I want to. I mean, it's cheap and common. I just have never got around to buying it.
By the end of the first quarter of the 21st century, freedom was dead in America.
But yeah, I really there is a forced border end as far as I can tell, but it's a pretty border.
Yeah,
but it's also got
that there's like it's completely 100% forced all the time. That's
yeah. I mean, it doesn't bother me as much on the Switch screen itself, which is where I was testing it, but it would really annoy me on my TV.
Yeah.
But it's actually got some really cool color options. Because, I mean, obviously, to scale Game Boy to 720p is 5x. So, I mean, that looks perfect. And then it's got a grayscale option and a color option that's like the default palette of the Super Game Boy, which is kind of cool, and a green palette that actually has an LCD overlay. It looks really good. So that I do like. But the others, I don't know. Have you tried those? Do they have interpolation or not?
I'm sorry, I've been watching this intro. I was missing what you.
Yeah, I don't know about Secret of Mana 2 and Second Detsetsu.
I don't know.
I mean, M2 has not been too consistent on interpolation options, so I don't know. Although those are games where I feel like the scrolling is such that I wouldn't be too concerned with. I wouldn't be too concerned with with non-integer scaling. Just the way those games move, I wouldn't expect. They're kind of slower, but I don't know. I'll have to boot up the other two games someday. Check it out. We also got $2 from Ben Brody. I don't know how this is going to fall out. I'll do my best. $2. Yep, no, that wasn't it. That wasn't it. Did it? $2. I feel like I'm going to do like an Italian accent or
Sorry to
something.
keep you waiting, Mr.
That's what it
President.
sounds like.
$2, but you have to say it in an Irish accent.
Enter the underground base using this oversized back door here.
I gotta go inside the oversized back
The
door.
enemy are just lowly foot soldiers. Even if they aim at you and fire, they're no match for your special heavy mobile armor.
So they kind of just drop you right into it. Like,
Yeah, it's sniper rifle. Pistol.
is this like a sort of a tutorial?
I guess. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. I'm gonna fool myself, I think, right away. You can have different guns in each hand, or on your shoulder, and also in your hands.
Well, that's okay. I feel like I made myself look like a fool playing Astral Chain last week. I think I'm like, I don't know, like 3, maybe 4 chapters from the end of that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've been playing it this week. I enjoy it. I don't feel like I'm very good at playing it, but like I haven't really run into any difficulty with it. Like I'm on like the platinum standard difficulty, which is the higher difficulty that was available from the start.
Yeah.
I'm glad I chose that one because it's been, you know, not terribly difficult at all. I feel like it's kind of like a, I would describe it as kind of a messy game. Like it's kind of got like a lot of elements, and some of them I think could have been maybe trimmed back, you know?
Yeah.
But like I also kind of feel like kind of what makes it is like kind of the balance between like action and sort of the exploration and like detective work. Like you kind of got these moments of calm, and then like the chapter kind of escalates into this like, you know, big, you know, sort of sometimes it's almost like this set piece,
Right.
sort of, you know, action scene. But you know, but then you've got these like moments of calm where you're just kind of poking around. Yeah, so it's kind of the play between those two that kind of makes it for me. But I feel like the controls are kind of difficult, but I've still like I don't think I've ever gotten the game over.
That's not so bad then. I do want to get it.
Yeah, I mean it's fun. It's fun. I enjoy it overall. We got $5 from Bubba D Matt.
Well, thank you.
Saying planning vacation and don't know where to go. Y'all recommend anything in your areas to go to or see? You know, I've been thinking a lot lately that like, you know, Charlotte is a really good place to live, but like,
There's not.
I can't think of anything like someone would like choose to go here like for a vacation. Like unless you were like a big NASCAR fan or something. like there's nothing to see. You know? I mean,
Keep waiting, Mr. President. The barrier has been
you know, I definitely can't imagine it being a tourist destination. I mean, I like going out west for vacation. That's my preferred kind of sightseeing. You know, I like all like the national parks out west, like in Utah. Like Utah has like the best national parks in my opinion. Arches National Park is probably my favorite vacation spot. If you don't mind doing some hiking in the desert.
Handgun. It's kind of interesting. The control scheme is pretty interesting. Like the swapping weapons.
I mean, From Software was kind of known for mech games before they were known for servers. I have only tried like the 1 or 2 of the Armored Core games through the PSIO, which definitely intrigued me. I don't think I had the music working correctly in it, but I was definitely intrigued. Like, I don't know if I've ever put significant time into like a 3D mech game before.
Yeah, I don't know if I have either. I mean, there's
Like, you know, Cybernator, of course. Like, I mean, obviously there are games where you like you get in a mech, but like you dedicated full on.
Cybernator is definitely not like it's not a 3D mech.
No. But I mean, I'm just saying like that's like.
Mr. President?
Yeah, it's like
What I'm saying is I've only really played like that's a 2D game, and that's like the most mechiness that I've done. Well, I mean, I saw Super Lanes. I remember.
Look at Air
I think
Force
the
One
first
is like taking off out of the. Oh. It is PS4, but I mean, it's definitely has not been enhanced very much. It looks like from the original version.
I mean, is it at the very least 1080p?
I'm sure, yeah.
60 frames.
It seems to run pretty good.
Like, yeah. I mean, I'm sure they didn't really change the geometry or textures much.
Just getting started.
Whoever that bad guy was, his name is Richard. And it's like, Richard! Oh, it was a vice president. President Michael Wilson's flight from the White House cemented Vice President Richard Hawke's hold on the country. With the Pentagon, Congress, and every other core institution in America firmly in his grasp, Hawke was free to thrust his depravity upon the country in the name of revolution. The land of the free was no more.
I went to GameStop because it's a game. The physical edition is GameStop exclusive for anyone who was wondering. And I went like a week after it came out, and so I wasn't really sure if I'd be able to get one. But I got one, and like I was shocked that it wasn't what we call GameStop new. You know,
I mean gutted and with the stickers, with like layers of
stickers on it, and the disc was taken out and everything. No, it was shrink wrap. I was shocked.
Jody, how's my schedule look for today?
You've got a conference and dinner party at the Japanese embassy regarding wildlife.
Yeah, it looks like we got a $5 donation from Ben Brody.
25 million. But if Coury pees, no matter where you are or what you're doing, you will also pee. Diapers are not allowed. I mean, that sounds like the worst deal you've offered yet. I mean, to be honest. I mean, that sounds like a good deal for Coury.
Yeah.
But the worst deal for me.
To my beloved fellow Americans.
I mean, I guess we could come up with some sort of
This is an announcement from the Government Policy Promotion Department.
But it still sounds like
American justice and freedom supporter. First of all, what I would like to tell each and every one of you is this.
How long is this supposed to be?
Recent events were not a mere coup d'etat, but rather a revolution to correct the wrongs in the United States of America. To our regret, our nation is in a crisis situation. Since 2010, domestic terrorism problems have increased rapidly. Economic disputes originating from the exhaustion of fossil fuels and the sudden rise in unemployment due to the influx of large-scale immigration. Neither the current president nor the American government took actions to address these various problems. On the contrary, they have filled their own pockets adhering
Looks
to
like there's
terrorist
14 levels,
cells.
at least in the Xbox version.
To correct this situation.
I mean, these are like locations,
Arizona
like San Francisco,
insurrection
Beverly
hero,
Hills,
and
etc.
vice
So I don't know if there
president
could be
of the
like
old government and
two
the U.S.
missions.
military rose to the task at hand. Much like our ancestors
That's
did,
how many
based in a belief of
are.
winning freedom, and based in the belief of an independent war, and based in the belief in this
we got
great
2
nation.
pound.
However,
Donation.
to our regret, an evil to disobey this belief exists in the United
Engine
States
UK.
of America too.
Is that like?
And here is that evil. This villainous
Like
terrorist
Engine
who
from
first
Jurassic
appeared in
Park.
Washington and began his unjust
Great Fencer
rampage
Musashi on PS1 looks
goes
great.
by
Seen
the
it?
alias
Yes, I
Metal Wolf.
see it. And I love it.
His current whereabouts
Played
are
it.
unknown.
Beating it.
While
Yeah, I need
all
to-
of America will
I was
be
like
under
16
martial
when
law
I played
until
it, though.
Metal Wolf
So-
is
I need to
out.
finish it. I played a good
Please
portion of the
do
way
not
through it.
confuse the
It's not.
issue
It's
when I was
not a
in
long.
college, but
It's
I
not a
haven't
long
without
game.
fail.
Yeah, I
It's
should
not
really.
long.
Military elite
Maybe a good
forces
one
with a
probably take
combined
me, like,
strength of 1.5
a week,
million
probably.
promise to
Oh yeah, I mean if you just
smash
played it for like
unforgivable evil to pieces.
2 hours a day, you'd be in.
This has been an announcement from the
There's
Government Policy
another
Promotion
donation
Department.
from Ben Brody. It
Your
looked like.
special remedy for
Yeah,
all
it's a very good
crimes.
game, and I would love to replay it. Favorite ice cream, and why is it not Space Harrier?
The coup d'etat army that occupies San Francisco still runs rampant.
My favorite ice cream is definitely cookies and cream. 100%.
I mean, I like, like maybe some like the ice cream, like specialty places. You might get like a s'mores or something like that. I really like that. I like salted caramel. Like anything like chocolate truffle something or other, I'll really like. Also like ones that have like they might be called like cake batter or something like that. Like
a birthday cake flavor.
Yeah, I've had the birthday cake flavor ones. Those are good. But I've also had like chocolate cake batter. It tastes like cake batter, but it's ice cream. It's good. I don't know how nationwide it is, but like there's a ice cream place called Brewster's around here, and they've got like you never know what flavors they'll have when you pull up.
Right.
Sometimes they might have one of your favorites, or they might have something completely different. You never know what they're going to have. Although I like Brewster's, but to be honest, I've kind of been a Dairy Queen man lately. I really like Blizzards. Like I like the consistency.
But I mean, those are
I like
all
the consistency of a Blizzard.
like it's the same thing as like what's the McDonald's equivalent, like the Flurry or whatever.
McFlurry, that's not the same thing. Like I like the texture of a Blizzard. But the weird thing about Blizzards to me is like I'm always kind of disappointed when I choose the ones that are like a branded candy. Like you would think like, Reese's or whatever, would be really good. But like I like the ones that are just like a s'mores Blizzard, or,
right.
A brownie Blizzard, whatever. Like those I prefer.
I assume I
So
just
I miss
destroyed
Woodside Creamery. Is that the little ice cream place that was on in Hockessin? It was like a horse farm or something. Like it was like a farm, right? Like there was like horses or something, right? Am I remembering that? Am I remembering that right?
Are you asking me?
No, I'm asking Retrode Morgan.
Oh, okay.
I do remember every once in a while going to a just like, I don't know, 2 or 3 times little ice cream places off farm. I can't say I remember a lot about the ice cream. Speaking of ice cream, did you know, like I had no clue whatsoever that Hershey's ice cream is like not related to Hershey's.
I didn't know that. That's surprising.
Yeah. And apparently the two companies have had like a tumultuous history.
Really?
Which is easy to understand why, because who wouldn't assume that Hershey's ice cream was
Don't they have like basically the same logo though too?
It's not the same logo. I mean, once you look at it after realizing it's not the same, but they're both from Pennsylvania, so it's obviously just like coincidental. Like,
you ever been to Hershey Park in Pennsylvania?
I have.
I went like a long time ago, but I don't remember anything about it.
I went several times when I lived in Delaware. I think I missed a donation. Yes, Sam. Did I miss a donation? No, I don't.
I thought I told you to use light firearms to destroy it.
You want to throw your fox? Well, throw Sandy's fox.
Way to go, Mr. President. Now the POWs can be safely liberated.
POWs. I blew up some POWs. Excellent.
The enemy forces have even captured San Francisco's cable cars. We can't let them get away with using the symbol of this great American city.
I mean, I wonder if this is considered to be really difficult.
I mean, I don't know. You seem to be blowing stuff up pretty good.
Yeah.
Man, it looks pretty smooth.
Yeah, I mean it's fun to play. I can see myself seeing this through to the end. What I need to do is I need to just get invested and play more games that are. I'm okay with just like finishing in a couple days. I just had no time to really play. I started Quantum Break the other day, and you know, like I told you that there's a 77 gig download.
Oh yeah.
And so I was like, okay, so I'm finally ready to play it. And then you start it, and I beat the first level, and it's like, this is a game/TV show experience. And in between each level, you get to watch like a TV show.
Oh, I forgot about that.
That is the narrative of the TV show changes depending on what choices you make during the game, which is cool and stuff. But you can't stream them. You used to be able to stream. It's like this is no longer able to be streamed, so you have to download them now. And it's like, oh, it's 75 gigs.
What?
To download the episode.
Oh, that's annoying.
Yeah, so I started and I'm like, oh, well now I gotta wait till tomorrow to play even more.
I mean that I played the first level too, and I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, no, it's like, cool. I mean, it's, you know, I will pretty much defend anything that Remedy does, especially if it's, you know, anything that Sam Lake is involved in. I just think that their games are really fun, and you know, this definitely feels like a step down from, especially after Alan Wake, because Alan Wake was so good, and this is definitely not nearly as good as that. And it's,
I mean, I was pretty impressed with
gameplay. It definitely has some cool gameplay, and it has gameplay that feels very, in portions, very reminiscent of Max Payne, which is always a good thing. I mean, I love the Max Payne games, and so I was kind of into it. But man, it just like takes the wind out of your sails. It's like, oh, you can't.
I had no idea that you
download
could
the show now too.
I had no idea. Like, can you skip that if like?
Oh yeah, you can skip it if you want, but
I mean, obviously we don't want to. But like, I'm just
I skipped
curious.
the first one because I said I'm just gonna wait until the next. I'll do the first 2 acts. I don't know how many acts are in it, but I read it's about 10 hours long. But now I finally downloaded everything last night, so now I'm ready to kind of go back to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting to that. But you know, I mean, I've definitely discovered over the past few months that like it improves my mood and state of mind significantly when like I actually allow myself to get invested in a game, and like you know, I'm like looking forward to playing it in the evening, you know?
Right, yeah, I can imagine that.
Like, you know, that and there was like a few weeks where like I was like kind of having trouble like picking a game that I could really get into. And,
Right.
You know, I felt like I wasn't working as efficient.
Well, it's been different for me. I want to play games and everything, but a lot of times lately what I've been feeling, what I want to do more than anything is just not play, like interact with the screen. I just want something to play in front of me.
Yeah. I can understand.
But I made it a point to start Quantum Break, and I'll see it through. And this seems like something I would enjoy playing all the way through too. I seem to do it. It's been between freelance work and the channel. I just haven't had a lot of time to do much else.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to be in like such a good groove and not have to really overwork once we get the doc series taken care of.
Well, what's kind of funny though is that I guess I've been editing so much and I feel like I've gotten extremely fast lately. I mean, the episode that I did for today, it was some long days, but I mean, I essentially finished it in like 3 days in terms of like editing it.
Yeah, I mean, it took like a week to write it.
Yeah, but I mean, it could have gone a lot faster to write it. It's just that I had a number of freelance things at the same time. And that's
what we were talking about was like, once I am no longer working on the doc series, like, even though I don't have the Mega SD, most likely what the best approach for that episode would be, I'm the one that edits it.
Right.
Because I can contribute the least to it otherwise. So
exactly.
You become the producer. You write the episode, plan the episode, capture almost everything for the episode. And you feed me the stuff and I edit it. Which, you know, I might need some guidance here or there because, like, I don't have the thing, and so I might not understand this or that. But then, you know, if you label the footage, you know, correctly.
Yeah, which is a habit I need to get into more.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I found that to be much easier. Like when I've been feeding you footage, like
yes.
it's been easier for me to organize my footage.
You're recording and editing, a lot of times you just record.
Right, you don't take that. I don't take the time to organize it well when I'm doing that.
Right.
But like when I'm handing it off to someone, I'm much more inclined to like be clean about it.
Right. And I think that's something we're going to get better. I'm actually, it's funny because this episode was the first time that before I started shooting anything of my own, I went through all the archival B-roll that I've put on this one hard drive. I've like a bunch of archival B-roll from previous episodes that I felt like would be useful to have in the future, and I filled in as much of the episode as I could with shots that we had either used before or shot and never used. People will start calling us game freak if we keep on doing it, but what can we do?
Game what?
People will start calling us game freak if we start reusing assets.
Oh.
But just in terms of getting stuff done, I mean, there's a lot of shots in this that was from the Mega SG episode.
You made a lot of good use of the new footage I shot of the insides of the Sega.
Yeah, but you shot that with the intent, and you shot so much of it with the intent that you would essentially never have to open a Sega CD up again.
Yeah. Although, when you showed Artemio some of the shots, he's like, this capacitor looks like it's leaking, and this capacitor looks like it's leaking. And I'm like, wow. I'm going to have to do something about that.
Yeah.
Nightfall X wants to know what's the VHS player with HDMI out that you have.
I have a Samsung and a Toshiba. I think the Toshiba.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Like
You've got two.
It's like the Toshiba's like the 620 or something like that. I don't have the exact model number off the top of my head.
Which is the better one?
Well, they're both good. I prefer the Toshiba one because it doesn't. You can turn off the on-screen display, and with the Samsung, you can't get rid of the tracking display that pops up. And the Toshiba also takes S-Video in, so you can run any source basically into it at this point.
Gaming Systems Collectioner wants a new gaming room tour 2019. If you look at let me see how does it work?
Oh, the playlist? Yeah, your stuff is on the public playlist now.
Right. Well, I just want to look at the front page so I can describe it correctly. Okay, so on if you scroll down on the front page of the My Life in Gaming YouTube channel, you'll see a playlist that it just says video logs and bonus material. And it says this playlist contains older bonus material that we originally released for our patrons. Which after like 3 months, you add them to that playlist.
Yeah, that's basically it. Like at the
so Coury's got an up-to-date tour, and I do too. But like, keep in mind that the stuff in there is like very minimally edited and casually shot. I mean,
but people might like that. You know, it's funny.
Yeah, it's relatively rough.
We were talking a bit about. So we're planning on doing a mini this week. We're going to do a mini. A lot of people have been asking us about the Super NES on Switch. We weren't planning on doing anything originally, but then we said, no, we'll just, I guess we'll do it. It was something we can do pretty quick. We'll do a mini on it. And so we're going to shoot that, I think, on Tuesday. And for a minute, I was saying, you know, do you think minis are things that we could ever do like on our own? And you were very much, you know, you brought me down to earth on it and said that, you know, minis should be, you know, it should be more of a conversation with us. And and
even if it's something that I don't have a lot to say about, like,
it's just good for us.
I can just
talking if
I can be there just for you to have someone to talk to,
yes,
and for me to ask questions about something that I may not know a lot about, or vice versa.
Exactly, and it got me thinking about the pillars of the channel, which I feel like we got our main pillars, which are our main episodes, which are scripted things.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have the live stream, which is super casual, and we play and we talk. But we also have guests and stuff on here. And even more casual than that would be our video logs.
Yeah.
And then and the minis are going to exist somewhere in between regular episodes and the live streams.
Right. That's more of like a get to know us sort of episode for the people that don't watch the live streams.
Oh yeah, Classic Gaming Quarterly in the chat, who is I don't know if he's back. He was just at a video game con this weekend. It was his first gaming convention he was a guest at.
Oh wow.
He's also going to be at Retro World Expo next month with us. But I'm wondering if he liked it. He was saying, he's like, I don't think anybody's going to come, like, wants to like come and meet me or anything. And I'm like, you're going to be surprised. You're going to be
he's
surprised.
Still in New Jersey. He's still in New Jersey, and Smoke Monster isn't hanging out with him. I mean, sounds disappointing. Smoke Monster is also not hanging out with me at present, so I share your disappointment.
Did you have a lot of people come see you? I said you were going to be surprised. I bet he was surprised. He also released an excellent, what is it, like is it an hour and 15-minute long video about the launch of the Dreamcast the other day. On Friday, I think he released it. Which is very well done.
I saw. I don't know if this is just the result of you know, Google having my information and obviously seeing that I've been doing a lot of stuff about FPGAs lately, because I'm working on the Kevtris portion of the doc series right now. But I got a couple of times on YouTube in the past few days this ad. Does anyone else see it? Where it's like, FPGAs can be confusing. So you can use our thing that lets you program them with Arduino instead. Whatever it was.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah. Well, you've got YouTube Red.
Yeah, or
Plus,
YouTube
or
Premium.
they call it.
No. Although, I gotta say, the first season of Cobra Kai is now free for everybody on YouTube, and
oh, really?
And if you haven't watched it, you simply must take an entire day of a weekend and watch it, marathon it, because it is incredible. I don't know if you care about or like the Karate Kid at all, but it's awesome. I have a feeling that you probably don't really care too much about the Karate Kid.
Well, I mean, it's just because I think I saw it when I was a kid, but I don't remember anything about it. I want to see it.
Yeah.
But I obviously need to see the original movies first.
You've never seen it? So you've never seen the original movies?
I think I've seen probably the original.
But you don't remember.
But I was like 7 or 8, and I remember nothing about it.
I think it's interesting. I'm not sure how much you will get out of it, because I think that I'm not sure how good the Karate Kid is going to be to people who are just seeing it for the first time now as adults. I think it's important to think about when that came out, just what the it made everybody sign up for karate and all this stuff, and it helped these karate dojos pop up in like strip malls and stuff like that. It was very important at the time, but I'm not sure if it would probably not resonate and be like the coolest thing you've ever seen now.
I do intend to watch all this. JF says I just use uBlock Origin, which I mean I have as well, but I mean,
being a content creator, you start to think up a little bit about it, I think, a bit more.
Right. I mean, you can whitelist things that you want to support, and
right.
I feel that as a YouTube content creator, I have to have YouTube whitelist because
I agree, and that's I signed up for premium is because I feel like it's worth it to do it that way.
Right. I mean. So I mean, yeah, I see ads on. I don't see ads everywhere, but I do see ads on YouTube because, I mean, that would be pretty hypocritical of me to not have ads on there because I mean,
The enemy forces have usurped the building, making it a target. The building was opened 2 years ago on April 25th.
I just donate to you guys on streams when I want to show you ad support. Well, and that's appreciated. I mean, that's probably a heck of a lot more than whatever each view of an ad is worth. So I mean, that is very appreciated. I mean, that's that is your choice. I forget how we pronounced. Was it just WRN Hokie?
Warren Hokie.
$2. Thank you. What do you think of the Game Boy Color Zelda Oracle games? I've only played each of them one time. I definitely like Oracle of Seasons, Oracle of Seasons more than Oracle of Ages. But I definitely didn't love them as much as Link's Awakening, which I'm excited about the remake in 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, it's like a week and a half or something like that. Or no? Yeah,
just under 2 weeks.
Yeah,
about 2 Fridays from now.
That's something we had talked about doing a mini on as well, and that would be really fun. But like when it comes to new releases like that, I would love to do minis on it. But we were very, very close to doing a mini on Final Fantasy VIII, the remaster.
Right. I actually played I played the entire. I can't believe I actually did it. Like I was like so determined to do it. Like once I started, I'm like, I have to beat Disc 1 today. I played through the entirety of Disc 1 on Monday. That was the day before the HD version came out, and I still haven't bought the HD version.
Right.
But like we were going to do a mini on Final Fantasy VIII, so I'm like, well, we need to have footage of the original version.
Yeah.
And like so on Monday, I played through all of Disc 1. I actually ended up doing most of it on Backloggery stream. And recorded it all. So that was fun getting that done that quickly. Like I kind of like if it weren't for us like trying to plan to do a Super Nintendo on Switch mini, like I would probably continue it tomorrow and see if I could do Disc 2. But I do want to finish that run sometime, just because like I definitely would like to do like big videos on like each generation of Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest and some of those series eventually. So hey, it'd be good to just go ahead and get recording the PS1 version of Final Fantasy VIII over with.
Right, just gets it started.
Then we've got the footage. I mean, it's evergreen footage, you know?
But that, we were going to do that, and then we decided, everyone's going to do videos on this. In terms of new releases like that, if you can't do something release something that's like relatively timely, then it's almost like it's not worth doing, because it would take us, we wouldn't have it out until at the very latest, like midweek this week, and it'd be over a week since it came out, and I don't think a lot of people really want us to.
Right. I mean, when you're a week late, like you're late.
Right.
If you do it a year later, though, that's totally different.
Right.
Then it's kind of evergreen. But if you're, in the moment, if you're kind of late, it's like people are over it for the time being.
Right.
They don't really care. So yeah, we'll do something on, the Final Fantasy games in our own way, in our own timing.
Right. And I think that in addition, I think going forward, like for new releases like that, I need to be more proactive and maybe reach out to developers to see if I can get stuff ahead of time.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we could have gotten an advanced copy of Final Fantasy.
Right, like if we could do something, if we got it early enough when we could release a video on it, a day or so after it comes out, or the same day it comes out, I think that would be totally worth it. Like people would watch that, and just like what happened with the Genesis Mini episode. Yeah. I mean, I said for that to work, we needed to get that out. The same day as everyone else does, and I think it was worth it.
I think like even if we can't get a review copy of something we want to look at, though, like it could still be worth it if we've got the bandwidth to get something out within a day or two of release. I think that could still be worth it. Like we buy it, and within 2 days we've got something out. That could still be worth it, I think. But the problem was we needed to get the Mega SD video out, because we don't want to do 2 minis back to back.
Is there even any kind of? I just like spent all that time trying to beat that.
So like the timing just wasn't going to work out.
Take America.
You're on back at like the beginning of the whole level.
I think I might be, but I think I know what I'm supposed to do now,
though. Gaming Blows with $2. Thank you. Asking Squall versus Carrick the Troll. Who wins? I don't know who Carrick the Troll is.
Carrick. That's the troll from Cat's Eye. The one that like sucks all the breath out of the little girl's nose when she's sleeping. Not really, I don't know if it really is. When I think of trolls like that, for some reason, that's exactly what I think of.
Looks like it's bringing up like a bunch of like Magic the Gathering cards or something.
So it's not the troll from Cat's Eye. You ever see Stephen King's Cat's Eye, the movie Cat's Eye?
No, I don't think so.
That might be another movie that. not Carrick.
I don't know. My search didn't really bring up what that was, but I'll just have to say Squall because I know who he is. I for the record, am a Final Fantasy VIII fan.
Well, that's one thing I was excited about revisiting it, is because I don't have very fond memories of it, especially because when it came out the day before or 2 days before the Dreamcast came out. So that probably affected my excitement level of it too.
Yeah, I mean, you know what's really impressive about it, you know, having just revisited it a week ago, is like, you know, we're always talking about like Final Fantasy moments, right? And like Final Fantasy VIII is like always building up to like the next awesome moment. Like there's like, you know, a period of calm, but then like these really elaborate set pieces and big moments like are just like, it's always building. It's like never that far until like the next exciting thing happens. Like it's pretty awesome. Like it's a well-paced game in my opinion.
Well, I'm excited to retry it for sure.
Yeah, I mean there's definitely like the menus, like junctioning is not hard once you understand it. Like I think a lot of people are confused by it, or they just didn't pay attention to the tutorials.
At the time, I feel like it was something. At the time it undid a lot of things that people expected from RPGs, and I think that's probably what people
right. I mean, the whole draw and stock thing.
Well, not only that, but you don't even like gain levels consistently.
Oh, you do gain levels, but monsters level with you, which is definitely the game's biggest flaw, in my opinion. Like, there's just
which makes you like all you need to do is like you need to overpower yourself with drawing. Yeah. Right.
Exactly. And you know what? It doesn't even take that long to like draw a full stock of the spell. And especially in boss fights where they might have something like that might be like kind of early to come across a certain spell that you really want. Like there's kind of a bit of a risk reward aspect at play. Like trying to draw while fighting a boss, you know? So it can be interesting in that way. But like the tutorials, to be fair, are not all that good, and the menus are actually kind of confusing because there are, in retrospect, like a lot of little details in the junctioning menu that can be easy to overlook if you didn't grasp the tutorial. But it's actually very simple. It also, I would say, has my favorite summoning system in the series. I like how when you summon Guardian Force, it replaces your character's HP for a moment. And then when an enemy hits that character, the Guardian Force takes damage instead. So if the Guardian Force runs out of HP, then you can't summon it. And you can also like boost the power of it during the summon animation. So like the summon animation actually serves a purpose.
I see.
So that's my favorite PS1 FF game. I mean, I would probably lean 7, but I like them all a lot. Like, I mean, I feel I've said this a bunch of times lately, but like my my opinion of Final Fantasy rankings is that 4 through 9 inclusive is better than any game outside that range. Like those 6 games are the best to me. And then the best one following that is 12, and like 11 and 14 would, probably be close behind as well.
Weapons like bazookas are effective against the tough tank armor.
Yeah, I mean, I need to replay them, and I like to replay. I like them all. I mean, I like 7 and 9 a lot, but I feel like I would probably like 8 more now. At the time, I just felt that Squall was like extremely unlikable.
I mean, is not exactly the most social human being that has ever lived. I found Squall relatable in some ways. Although, I mean, he's a jerk about it. But, I mean, Cloud was kind of a jerk when the game starts, but his jerk phase is a lot shorter than Squall's phase. But I think Final Fantasy VII's popularity kind of bred Squall. Like they are like, oh well, let's
how likable of a main character can we make him?
This sort of not so cheery main character like really worked well. So let's lean into that.
I mean, I don't remember feeling that Cloud was a jerk at the time.
He was like.
But I guess I didn't
in Midgar.
I guess there's a point where I just didn't really read too much into their personalities, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first time I played it, I didn't really think too deeply about it,
Yeah, and I've only finished.
It's like, okay, these are the characters, and then Sid is the one who swears.
Right. I do. I do need to replay it, and I think that I would probably have a lot of fun replaying 7 as well.
Oh yeah. Is the OSSC Kaiko any good? You've got one. You were sent.
Yeah. They're.
And I mean, and based on your test, is like performs exactly the same as the other OSSC.
Yeah, I even updated.
And Voltar has like vetted the parts and said like they use good.
Right, and I think that's important to understand. I mean, we not even like when they contacted us, I was like, oh, I will. That's something we'd like to talk about, but then when Voltar had a chance to look at it before us, and I saw his tweets and breakdown of it, and saying, yeah, I said, okay, yeah, I would feel good looking at this now, because I don't want to like waste our time looking at it for one thing, and not have it be that good. I mean, a lot of times when people say, oh, hey, can we send you this thing? We're very honest, and we'll say we don't really have time to do this right now. So if there's people that you feel that would be able to do it better, like would be able to look at it now, you should just send it to them instead, because we can't do it right now.
And sometimes it can still take us a while to get around to something, but we will if it's something, it's like, oh, this gives us an interesting other thing to explore for like this subject.
Right.
Where does Tactics fall in that lineup? I have to confess, I have never been able to get into the original Final Fantasy Tactics.
You should give it another shot. It took me a long time to finally finish it as well, and it's fun. It's just I felt like the music really helped drive it.
I should give it another shot. I've given it 2 or 3 chances. But I just have not been able to get into it. I love Tactics and Tactics Advance and Tactics A2, and maybe it's just because they're just very gameplay centric, and the political intrigue and maneuverings of the original Tactics just did not grab me, especially with how bad the translation is. Like, it was just very difficult to follow. They were talking about things that were, happening in yonder capital, that you don't actually see, and it was just very disjointed and disconnected for me.
Right.
I just couldn't follow it, and like so much of the game was like looking at this story that I couldn't parse.
Right.
And and then after I played I actually didn't like Tactics Advance the first time I played it either. And then I restarted it like a few months later, or maybe even a year later, and it just like it clicked. I loved it. It just like consumed me for like several weeks of one summer during college. Like I was just like obsessed with it, and I was like, oh man, I'm going to give the original Tactics a try again. Like I loved it. And I started it again. I'm just like, man, I just can't get into this.
Another one I really want to give another shot, and I understand how complicated it is now, is Vagrant Story.
Me too. I mean, I bought it like a year and a half ago. I bought it again. I actually bought it from when we were in Chicago. We randomly went to that swap meet at the Galloping Ghost. I bought it from someone who like recognized me from the show. It doesn't have the demo disc in it. That's okay because the price.
They have a greatest hits version. It's just a single disc version. But you can't do that.
Oh, I mean, I can't have a great sense. But I do want to give it a try again. I mean, I think it's something I can appreciate a lot more now as well. Gaming Blows with another $2 question of people I don't know. Zartu. Wait, is he talking about Zartu the Unicorn versus Cypher? Who wins? Is he talking about that game that you bought?
No.
No?
I don't think so. Maybe. He might be.
Is that the game we're talking about?
Maybe these characters are from the Last Unicorn or whatever the name of it is. Prism, the last Unicorn Chapter 1. I'm guessing that probably is it.
I mean, I will definitely
stream Prism before the year is out. I will have to just make a commitment and do it. Yeah, it's from.
I mean, I could imagine Cypher getting impaled by a unicorn. I mean, the guy has no real fighting discipline, I would say.
I mean, I just remember also with 8, like, being confused exactly how everything fits in with Laguna.
Oh, that's one of my favorite parts. I mean, it gets pretty confusing, but it's actually really cool how it all pieces together. And Laguna is by far my favorite character in the game. Like, he's such a good character. He's really one of the best characters in all of Final Fantasy, to be honest. I mean, he's really fun. As battle music. I know you didn't like Xenoblade, but will you give the remake a shot? I did like Xenoblade. I may have downplayed it at some point though, because like I felt like most people liked it more than I did, but I liked it. But like I felt like most people like really freaking loved it. And I was like, yeah, this is good. Like the thing that I liked about was the plot had a very 90s RPG feel. Like that was fun. That was fun. The battle system I didn't love, but I liked. But I will tell you what I did love was the Xenoblade Chronicles X battle system. I thought was one of the best battle systems I've ever seen in an RPG. It's difficult to understand at first, but like once it clicks, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And I'm definitely intending to give the remake a go. I mean, I beat.
That was a pretty good direct, just in general.
I'm trying to think of what all happened during it.
Got some
well,
more
Blood Premonition 2 was definitely a surprise.
Demolition Company in Anaheim. I'll introduce you next time, Mr. President.
But Xenoblade 2, I could not enjoy that battle system at all. I played that game for maybe 13, 14 hours, and I couldn't do no more.
Nothing to get excited about.
What's next console for RGB Masterclass? Is between the Wii and the Dreamcast. And we're going to try really hard to have one of those out by the end of this year.
Yeah.
After the doc series is done. I mean,
after the doc series, everything's going to change.
Everything hinges on that. Oh, I know. I mean, I can't either. And I'm sorry that it's like taking so long, but I mean, I got to do it right.
Yeah.
Got to do it right.
I feel like when that comes out, it's gonna be 5 weeks in a row of new episodes, which is gonna be nice. It's like almost like we should just take a very well-intentioned vacation during that time.
I know, like I want to do that, but at the same time, it's like
we can use that time to get ahead.
Yeah,
like way ahead if we wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, we should probably take like 1 week off.
Yeah,
we'll have earned it.
Yeah.
Like, I should just like take that week off and just like cram down an RPG.
Cram it down. Huh?
Yeah. I would do Tokyo Mirage Sessions if it weren't for the fact that the Switch version was just announced. I mean, I would feel kind of silly playing my Wii U version.
How far off is that? When is it supposed to release?
I think it's early next year.
Oh, okay. So after that just really leaves Mario 3D World and what else?
I mean, I don't know if Star Fox will get a port.
I mean, I could see them redoing Star Fox and making it a lot
better.
Like,
they would have to significantly revamp it, which would make it more popular. Pikmin 3. Yeah, Pikmin 3. Like, I could see them doing, like, a Pikmin collection, maybe. What else is there? I mean, I was counting up my Switch games. I think I've got, like, over, like, more than 56 or 57, like, physical Switch games at this point. It's, like, kind of absurd. I think I've got, like, 24 or 25 Wii U games.
I hope this is what
it would be nice to see a Xenoblade X port. That would be nice, because I would like more people to have a chance to play that. Yoshi's Woolly World.
Yeah.
I mean, that got 3DS port, but it'd be nice to have a Switch port of that as well. Although I don't know how likely that is.
There's a couple of donations.
Oh.
Someone said I heard there was a Prism stream happening soon. I wouldn't say it's probably gonna be soon, but I mean I don't know. I'm obligated.
It could be anytime you want it.
Yes.
Yeah. That was $1.99 from Chris Theron. Thank you. And then another 2 from Gaming Blows. Coury versus Try. Anything goes. Anything. Who wins? Oh gosh. I mean, I can't imagine myself winning that fight. So versus very many people. So I mean, I don't know what your fighting prowess is, but
what
I
if
have
you have
to
the
assume
Metal Wolf mech? What if we both had Metal Wolf mechs? Maybe.
I mean, I can't imagine myself being very good at driving it, but I have a hard time envisioning myself winning any real life fight.
there's a $1 donation from SSJN who said Funky Barn will be the only Wii U exclusive left. Funky Barn.
That sounds a little familiar, but I don't know what it looks like. Wonderful 101.
Yeah, that's got to happen too.
I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, Platinum has definitely been pretty dedicated to Nintendo lately. Yeah, it would be nice to get the HD Zelda games on Switch for sure.
I don't know if it must just like.
Yeah, oh, we'll definitely do an original Xbox episode. I mean, it's hard to say like where in our priorities it lies. I mean, you know, I mean, to be honest, I mean, I feel intimidated by Xbox in some ways because, like, for one, like I haven't owned one for that many years, and like I've pretty much just used. At first, I started with crappy component cables. Then I switched to official component cables, and that's like the extent of my like connection experience with it. And secondly, like so many people are so like dedicated to the original Xbox and like using it as like a media center and using it for emulation and all that kind of stuff. Like I feel like the hacking scene on Xbox is so established and so strong that I feel intimidated by it because I feel like hardcore original Xbox fans know so much, and I'm like scared that I'll like I'll never know what all angles to explore. Plus, the video encoders change a lot from model to model. Like the actual video fidelity from various units varies a lot. Now I've got 2 systems, and you've got how many do you have?
Well, I have 2, but one of them is kind of busted. I have to repair the trace on it.
Okay.
If you power it on, the DVD drive opens by itself.
You know, I know that we can get feedback from our viewers, but still it's hard to catch up. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, once we get to it, we're going to get to it, and we're going to do our best.
Yeah, we could probably ask Modern Vintage Gamer for like a lot of feedback on it because he's pretty extremely well versed in the system and everything about it.
And another thing about original Xbox, I'm going to be flat out honest. I know nothing about RGB on it. I don't know which regions support RGB. I don't know if they all do. I don't know if some do. I don't know if none do. I know nothing about that. Is there a VGA cable? I just, for some reason, that's just like a big blind spot for me. Because I've just like used component and not really looked beyond that for me. It's just a system that, I mean, I have not had for, more than maybe 4 or 5 years. And, I don't have a huge library of games for it. I mean, it's a system I like and I respect, but I did not have it during its day. And I've got a lot of Xbox blind spots.
Right. I don't know what else I have to do here.
Do I have Valis 1 through 4 on PC Engine? I've got 1, 3, and
2,
4.
Right?
I don't have 2. I think that's the most expensive one, maybe.
Right.
I really want to play 4 because it's super good from the little bit I tested when I got 4 at Long Island Retro Gaming Expo.
Well, maybe at Retro World you'll get 2.
Maybe that's actually where I got 3.
Yeah. So I am getting very close to wrapping up my big grid Genesis cases. This week I got, or the last, during the week I found for pretty cheap on eBay. I got both Arnold Palmer Tournament Golf and Pat Riley Basketball complete. So all I need is Dick Tracy, and I was bidding on a Dick Tracy last Sunday, and I should have it sold for like $1 above my max bid, so I should have just gone for it. But the cheapest ones being sold are usually like in $40, like the $40 range. I kind of want to. Maybe I can do better than that. So I'm okay with waiting and just being patient with it.
The ones that I picked up for you the other last week, those were small grid.
Yes. So I'm kind of switching over to the small grid, but that's going to be very kind of a casual thing. I don't want to spend a lot of money on there. And I think the only really expensive ones that I don't have are the smaller grid. Chicky Boys and Alien Storm seems to be kind of expensive these days. And probably Alicia Dragoon is going to be the most expensive one.
Yeah. You should have got that Alicia Dragoon that was at Myrtle Beach.
Yeah. It was kind of rough. I didn't have a manual either. I'm trying to get them complete if I can. Which means that I need to complete the ones that I don't have the manuals for, which isn't very many. I just need like a Michael Jackson Moonwalker manual and a Wonder Boy Monster World manual. There was a Wonder Boy Monster World manual on eBay this week, but it was like $25. I can't justify it.
I feel like Alicia Dragoon is like the best Genesis game that I have and you don't.
The what?
I feel like Alicia Dragoon is the best Genesis game that I have and you don't.
Probably.
Great Cart is asking, he's been searching for so long but can't seem to find what's the model of that CD tower you showed off in the soundtracks episode. That is called a Gnedby, Gnedby, I think. It's an IKEA piece. Gnedby. Let me know if that spelling does not bring up your searches.
Sammy Sness, what I was talking about is the big grid Genesis cases. Basically, Genesis games that came out in the U.S. like up until 1991, they have a black grid. First party games. They have a black grid in they're bigger grids. You know, there's bigger space in between each block, I guess is a good way to put it. Maybe. And then starting in 91, like later on 91, they had the same kind of grid, but the grid itself was much tighter. So it's kind of like a sub thing that I thought was fun to try to collect all of. Is
that something that like other people have pointed out before, or is that your own
it was just. I mean, I'm sure there's people that were interested in that, but I just did it because I thought it was kind of cool. What's kind of interesting is that I have a version of Super Hang-On that's a big grid, but it's a much later release. Like it's a reprint of it. And it has like an ESRB rating on it. Came out in '96, and like what I was researching is, I mean, I didn't pay much for it, but it's complete. It has like all the inserts and everything in it. And I was reading something about how it's like a really rare version of it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How does the size of the Master System grid compare to
the Genesis grid? It's the same size as far as I know. Like the Master System big grid is the same size as the the Master System grid is the same size as the Genesis big grid that I'm looking for.
I can't believe how many Master System games I have now. Like, especially after Long Island, because they just had so much Sega stuff. I mean, I've got like 12 Master System games, which is more Master System games than I ever thought I would have.
Yeah, I have quite a
few. I mean, there's still others that would interest me.
Oh, we got a $1 donation. Looks like in the screen there from SSJN.
Oh, from SSJN. Mel Wolf Metalhead versus Melwolf Chaos versus Iron Soldier. Who wins?
Metalhead. That's the 32X game, isn't it? I don't know. I've never played. I mean, up until today, I'd never played any of those. I mean, I'm familiar with Metalhead, but I've never played it. Sorry, my chair here is like making some noise.
Well, you'll just have to go up to Long Island next year, Retro Morgan, if you want to stock up on Sega stuff. I mean, it shocked me. Like, I have never seen so much Master System and Genesis stuff in one convention, I feel. Like, it was definitely more than I'm used to seeing, especially around here. Like, Genesis stuff, like, I mean, you find it in the local shops, but it's not nearly as prominent as other platforms.
Mr. President, the
So I was like, well, I'm buying Sega stuff while I'm here. In fact, the only non-Sega things I bought, I think, were Biohazard, Gun Survivor 2, Code Veronica, and Dallas 4.
Mr. President, the coup d'etat forces
Connect me.
It's so intense. Like,
Dear fellow Americans,
I want to watch the cutscenes, but I almost feel like it's too boring. This is an
announcement from the Government Policy Promotion Department, where the password is overflowing love and daily benevolence. Today, we bring you a most unfortunate bulletin. Last evening, the city of San Francisco suffered extensive damage at the hand of Metal Wolf, who suddenly appeared.
They're painting Metal Wolf as this
slaughtering unresisting citizens. This
thing that's just destroying everything, and I don't think that anybody knows that the president is inside of it.
And made an
they're just calling it the Metal Wolf.
Yeah. Violent criminals, and the sum of $500 million. This vicious
disaster report is that like Michigan Disaster Report or whatever it's called? It was like the PS2 game that came out in Japan and Europe, but not here. I really want to play that.
Isn't there that one was canceled years ago and is getting released finally?
No. This was a PS2 game. If that's the one
to get away
that I'm
with
thinking
acts
of.
like this.
But did it come out here? Am I thinking of?
Americans will never yield to such evil.
There's like so many like
our own justice.
B-tier disaster games that
continues.
I get them all mixed
My
up.
fellow Americans, please bear with our situation. To defend this lovable nation, let's lead the brave fight together. This has been an announcement from the Government Policy Promotion Department, where our motto, justice over theory,
game that I've played with disaster in the title, I think, is Disaster Day of Crisis, which is enjoyable. it's you recover health eating hamburgers. They're like this big. And the way you just go like, it's the best thing.
I go to Beverly Hills. That's where I want to be. Bring fashion back to the streets.
I'm gonna look on my backloggery and search for the word disaster and see if I've got any other games with the word disaster. Nope, just Disaster Day of Crisis. Yes, that is the Wii game where every natural disaster happens. It was made by Monolith Soft, which is certainly not like the RPGs that you normally think of. Raw Danger? No, I'm not familiar with that. Disaster Report is my favorite genre. B-grade PS2 era titles. I have to agree that B-grade PS2 titles has also become a bit of a fascination for me. I very briefly, a year or two ago, thought, it would be fun to buy every single horror game on PS2. And then I remembered that like at least 3 of them are really, really expensive. And I was like, oh, maybe not. If I don't run across Fatal Frame locally before October,
you're just gonna go for it.
I'm just gonna buy it on eBay. If I don't find it locally or at Retro World, I'm just gonna order it because I really want to start that series, and I've got 2 and 3, but I'm still looking for 1. I think 2 is supposed to be the best one, but I want to play them all in order. Like the little bit, I've played like 30 minutes of 2, and it is freaking horrifying. Like it is the exact kind of scariness that really gets me.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty terrifying.
I don't know if I just bought all this stuff, and hopefully I didn't just waste all this money.
Do you still play PS2 with Bob the Interlacing? If so, how? I've just gotten used to it.
That's the thing is, I can understand it, but there's no way I'm going to do that on my OLED. I can't because like the Bob the Interlacing, like if you let it sit on your even on my IPS.
That's for I feel like that is an effect specific to IPS though.
You think? I mean, I'm not gonna.
I think so. I don't think that's the kind of thing that affects OLED. I really don't think so. To be fair,
as this camera and I bring you all the news.
I don't think I've put like significant time into a PS2 game with Bob the Interlacing on my OLED. Like I've been playing Dawn of Mana a little bit lately, but I've actually been playing it on CRT. And we were talking about our setup, our casual setup videos that people can view on that playlist on the page. But I'm actually kind of gearing up to do a pretty significant revamp, even beyond that. And it's going to involve. I'm actually thinking about making it like an actual proper video, like kind of documenting the process to some extent. Because it's actually going to involve like finishing an unfinished room in my house.
There's a donation from SSJN coming through here in a second.
Oh, $1. Fatal Frame 1 and 2 are best on Xbox. A local store of mine actually got like all the Fatal Frame games recently, and the PS2 version of Fatal Frame 1 sold right away, so I couldn't get it. But when I went there last week, they still had the Xbox version. But I mean, I don't know if I'm just making bad assumptions based on the PS2 version of Silent Hill 2 apparently being better than the Xbox version. I don't know. Maybe the Fatal Frame ports are good, but I've just kind of had it in my head to stick with it as a PS2 series for me. I really like the texture of horror games on PS2. Like something about the specific look of PS2 games just like works really well for horror, in my opinion. It's just kind of just like gritty and grungy, and it's just something about it fascinates me. What Wild Arms games should I play? You only own 3.
Definitely the first one.
Definitely the first one.
The first one is the best one, at least that I played. I mean, I know a lot of people really like.
Oh, you've only really played the first two, right?
Yeah, the second one has such a bad translation that it's difficult to play.
I would skip 2 and play 3 instead because I really liked 3. The only thing I didn't like about 3 was that it was very similar in a lot of ways to 2, and it would have felt fresher had I not played 2. And 2 was not as good. In my opinion, 3 was basically like a better version of 2. So I would definitely say play 1, play 3.
The first one is so good.
Yeah, it's a very basic RPG, very very simple and straightforward, but just
the battle graphics might turn some people off, but I thought they're still think they're kind of charming.
They are charming. They're bad, but charming.
Yeah. They're bad in a good way.
Yeah. I was actually Wild Arms 4 is not particularly well regarded. I know one person who's like nuts over it. But most everyone else doesn't. I think they say the gameplay's okay, and apparently it's the shortest game, so there's that. But I think people will think the story is really stupid or something like that. But I was going to start it like a week or 2 ago, and then I decided to play Dawn of Mana instead. But 5 looks really good, just like
you don't have the remake, do you, of the first one?
I don't. It's kind of expensive.
It is, and also it's one of the few PS2 games on a dual layer disc.
Huh?
But I mean, it seemed like they made it more like the other ones, which made me less interested in it.
Yeah, and there's like extra party members and stuff, which kind of turns me off. Like, I really don't like it when remakes of RPGs add new party members. Like, I know that they've got to add like extra features and stuff, but it always feels outside. It never feels like it meshes, in my opinion.
Yeah,
it's like,
I mean,
that character was not meant to join the party. You know?
Well, what about in Skies of Arcadia? I mean, you've only played the GameCube version, so isn't there like that one extra party member you can get? She has like the sickle or something like that.
Oh, I don't think she's a party member. I think she's just someone you fight in the ship battles.
I thought she could join you.
Yeah, I mean, I did not do much with like the ship battles and the what was it, the skyfish or whatever they're called, that were added to the GameCube version. I didn't do a lot with that stuff. So if you could recruit her, I didn't know. Because I only had like Vice, Ica, Vina, Draken, Gilder. Is that it?
I think so. That's the game I gotta replay. The game.
Yeah, me too.
Wish I had unlimited time.
Yeah, I mean,
but I think I could do all this stuff if I just committed to it and said, "Oh, I'm gonna play this now. I'm just gonna play it."
Yeah.
And spend a couple of weeks playing it.
Yeah, I mean that's. I mean, like I say, I mean, I've been treating myself much better in terms of giving myself free time lately, and it's helped tremendously, and it's felt good to just play through some games that are a little long. I mean, not like crazy. Like I've not played anything like super long, but like I've played through a few games this summer. It's felt good. Grandia Saturn will be fully translated soon, huh? I've got a Japanese copy just because it's so cheap. I've also got the Grandia Museum disc.
Oh, that's right.
But to be honest, I haven't tested the museum disc. I'm really curious about it though. I don't know if you have to have like a save file from the main game to like unlock a lot of stuff in it though? I have no idea. I don't know much about it. I didn't know about it until I saw it in Japan. I'm like, what is this? I want this.
This game is a lot of fun in its mindlessness.
Yeah. Like, I've seen you, like, blowing up, like, a lot of buildings that I've kind of wondered, like, do you have to do that?
Yeah, they say target on it. As far as I know, you have to.
Oh, really? So if it says target, it means that it's part of your main objective.
I guess so, yeah. Yeah, I'm wondering about that. Like, does the Switch translation for the first one, is it the same as the PS1 translation? Is it the same VO and everything?
Why wouldn't it be?
I don't know, because because Sony did it.
Sony did what?
The PS1 version
of
Grandia.
Are you sure?
It was definitely published by him. For sure.
It was like the ESP. Wasn't
no,
it?
ESP was the developer. That's like part of.
No, the developer was
but ESP is
Game Arts. Game Arts was the developer.
But isn't ESP? ESP is related to Game Arts. They're not like
ESP. Doesn't ESP appear at the beginning of some Working Designs games too?
I'm pretty sure that ESP is part of.
Well, it appears at the start of Silhouette Mirage, which is a game.
Yeah, I mean they're not the.
No, that's not Game Arts.
They are. I'm sure someone in the chat can explain it better, but they tend to be just part of. Just part of like, they're related to Game Arts in some way. But Sony was definitely the one who published it in the US.
But maybe they don't own the translation. I don't know. Oh man, you're asking some difficult accents from me tonight, Ben Birdie, with your $2. I feel like my brain is in this frame of mind where like everything is at risk of just becoming an Italian accent.
$2, but you have to say it in Jamaican accent, man. That's the best I can do. That was one of my favorite parts of the new episode, where I got to use that corpse killer part where he's like, radical, man, or radical, dude, radical. It's so bad.
That game does look pretty cheesy. I'm looking
that was horrible. I wasn't expecting it to be bad. I expected it to be good for sure. Good.
If approached carelessly,
Strike from a distance.
This is originally an original Xbox game that was exclusive to Japan, and this is the HD version on PS4.
I got a good kick. I mean, I thought it was funny. The thumbnail that I did for this stream. I laughed about it.
You have the XD face.
Yeah.
On the thumbnail. It took a little while for me to process it.
if approached carelessly, it will detonate. Don't be so lax.
I gotta walk up to it and disarm it a different way. He's so lax.
I know you guys aren't the biggest Smash fans, but what characters would you like to see for DLC? I don't know that much about like the Neo Geo fighting game scene.
Mm-hmm. But you know like who Terry Bogard is.
I mean, yeah, but I thought I thought King of Fighters was more popular than Fatal Fury, so I was surprised when I saw the Neo Geo thing.
King of Fighters is a spun off from Fatal Fury.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. I just don't know that much about the fighting games on Neo. I mean, because I'm not a big fighting game guy, so I just, Do you feel that he is the right choice to represent Neo Geo fighting?
Yes, 100%. Not even. There's absolutely no question.
I thought it was going to be Mai Shiranui because I thought she was she's like the character that I see representing Neo Geo fighting games more often than anyone else.
Who, Mai?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that'd be. I feel like that'd be too over the top for
Smash.
Yeah.
Maybe. But
I think that might be.
As an outsider to Neo Geo, I feel like that's the character.
I mean, there's a reason why.
Yeah,
she's associated. It's shown so much, but but Terry Bogard is like the main character from the series. I mean, I could see if they were going to do anybody else, the person I think would be not even from King of Fighters, just like SNK in general, be probably Hamaru from Samurai Showdown, who I think might be interesting with having a weapon.
I mean, I was thinking like okay, so who's going? I mean, they announced that there's going to be more fighters beyond the 5th that they have yet to announce.
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean,
that was news though. I mean, I guess you could have maybe assumed that they would do more, but I mean, that was news. They had given no intention. They had given no intention of doing more than the 5. Like I was thinking, like who's going to be? I mean, a lot of people want Shantae. I mean, I think Shantae will happen. I don't think it's completely unrealistic. You know who? I mean, I don't know if this is kind of a long shot, but like I was thinking like Kunio would be like maybe kind of a fun one.
Man, I want to play River City Girls really bad. I was kind of like I was listening to the soundtrack on YouTube a little bit today, and it's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it doesn't have any. I mean, I listened to the soundtrack because I did the trailers for it.
Right.
FYI, in case they wanted to chat. I think I've said that on the stream before. I did the teaser trailer and then like the 2 character trailers.
Right.
So I got access to the soundtrack and to pick music for the trailers. And at first, I'll be honest, I was kind of a little disappointed by it, mostly because I was like, I really wanted to hear like a new remix of like the River City Ransom theme, and I don't think it exists. It seems to be all original music as far as I could tell. So that disappointed me a little bit at first, but then the more I listened to it, I really like it. It has its own unique flavor.
It feels a little bit like Double Dragon Neon. Speaking of which, I mean, I could see like the double like Billy or Jimmy Lee appearing in Smash.
Yeah, I could see that.
They might as well, if they're gonna go for like iconic characters like over the years. Like I think that'd be a good.
But if they were going to do a Technos character, I would prefer Kunio to Double Dragon. I've never really taken that much of a shine to Double Dragon.
I could see them being NFL.
There was another $2 from Gaming Blows. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Say want to shout out Carmageddon Max Damage.
Oh.
I played some Carmageddon game. I want to say it was the original Carmageddon game. A friend had it on his computer back in the day.
Yeah, I am kind of I had a cracked version of Carmageddon 2. So it was like Carmageddon 2 Carpocalypse Now. And as far as I know, it only had 1 level to play for some reason. And I played it so much
The defense strength is high.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Rayman would be cool.
Rayman? Yeah, I could see him.
That would definitely seem pretty believable. Ryu from Ninja Gaiden would definitely be a pretty high priority for me personally.
Yeah.
But I also
like
I don't.
But if they're gonna choose a Tecmo character, they probably pull somebody from Dead or Alive before they did that.
You think?
Well, I guess Ryu would be technically from both.
I mean, like, I feel like that's like probably the biggest NES action series that is like still not represented.
Yeah. You'd like to see us play very badly one of the virtual on games. Love the soundtrack in virtual on. And both of them actually are soundtracks are extremely good.
I've really been enjoying the music in Astral Chain for some reason.
For some reason,
Like
it's not.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't strike me as like the kind of music that I would like really take a shine to, but I really enjoy it.
Really?
I need to look up who did it.
But in terms of other Smash characters that I'd like to see,
I
mean,
you
like,
know, I was trying to think without looking at a list. Like, I was trying to think, like, Banjo couldn't possibly be the first character of Western origin in Smash, could he?
I didn't think about that.
Like, that would seem crazy.
I could see
though.
Crash being in it. I could see Crash being a character.
I could see that happening. It would be weird, but I could see it happen.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably trying to make that happen. I bet.
Are you guys doing an update on the new custom firmware for GBS 8200 boards? I've not heard about that.
You have it now, right?
I've got the GB. You gave it to me, yeah.
What is the ad?
Like, does it like not do like the deinterlacing or whatever it does? Like it looks blurry in motion. Definitely be curious. Is it easy to update? Yeah, I guess King K. Rool counts as a Western design character.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess those things technically sort of like
What?
Dark Banlist. Oh, duh. I mean, when I said the Ryu, like Ninja Gaiden was like last big DS series, not what it's saying. Well, I mean, I completely forgot before either. I mean, if they get some representation there, that would be pretty, I would say.
You got a robot voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I lose you?
You're sounding robotic on my end as well.
Huh. Let's leave the call and rejoin it.
I'm not making full screen again. Well, yeah, of course, Coury would sound fine because
it's just going in. Yeah.
He's local to his microphone.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
Me, I'm the one coming through. But I was saying on my end, it was breaking up as well. Did it fix?
It should be fixed. Yeah, you sound fine now.
Okay.
Looks there's a held message that has the GBS 8200 stuff in it. That's it.
Oh.
So the handgun can shoot the bullets out of the air. So what are your thoughts so far on the Super NES on Switch? I mean, do we even want to get into that if we're going to be doing the mini on it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm impressed with what Nintendo has been doing with their emulation lately. Overall, to be honest, I think if I'm not mistaken, isn't it a new like internal like French studio or something like that that's been doing it?
I have no idea.
I think so, since the NES Classic. I mean, especially once they did the SNES Classic and did the interpolation. Like, I was pretty impressed with that. I mean, I haven't done anything like sound lag tests or anything like that yet, but like just the interpolation is really good. You know, I hate that you can't have a pure black border, but at least you can turn off the buttons. Like, you don't have to have the button display.
Yeah, that's something.
I think NES might have been patched to do that now as well, but I haven't played that in a while. I'll have to check. It looks really good, though. I was really impressed with Joe and Mac too.
Yeah,
I was having a lot of fun. I'd never tried it before, but I was having a lot of fun with it. Like, it's a much more elaborate game than I expected.
Does it have like an overworld and stuff?
Yeah, it does. It does. Some of the aesthetics kind of make me think of Ristar for some reason, and even the music in the first level like kind of feels like Ristar. It's weird.
Really?
Like, to me anyway. It's kind of got that vibe. It's got a really catchy first level thing.
Let me refill my health here if I can.
I'm sure it's got the network multiplayer. We haven't tested it yet.
Yeah, it definitely has it in there.
I mean, the menu. I mean, it's virtually the identical presentation.
Yeah.
It's really cool that Puyo Puyo 2 is on there, so it shows they're willing to have just like completely unlocalized games on it.
Right.
I mean, I did not pay that close attention to the releases on the NES after we did our video. So yeah, I don't know if there were any import-only games on there.
Jeez.
Are you in range of that helicopter? Like your reticule's not lighting up.
I don't know. I'm trying to.
Like your reticule changes colors, doesn't it? Like when you're like it changes. Like, I don't know what the colors mean. But...
Oh, there we go. Some health refills.
We haven't tried an M-Cable Classic, but that's definitely something that we would be willing to do a mini on.
Yeah. We were offered to do it, and that's before we
had anything for it. So we kind of turned it down at the time, I think.
Yeah, we could probably reach out and get it
yeah. Yeah. It would be a good subject for a mini for sure.
Alright, where am I going now?
Something that I thought was pretty cool is that Kirby's Dream Land 3 has high-res blending.
Yeah, which is something you weren't expecting about it.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I didn't even think about it until I got to the second level, and I was like, oh.
You should see. You should see if it's...
I want to... I want to...
You have the Dream Collection, don't you?
I do have the Dream Collection, but that's... It's not... They aren't as good as the VC versions on there. I'm guessing that the VC version doesn't have that. I'd be curious, like, is it on Wii U? I mean, I don't really want to pay the $8 to get it on Wii
U. I don't know. You could probably just, like, look it up.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I don't think the effect is used in the first level, but it's definitely used. I mean, I played through like the first world and then a level or two. It's used more often than I realized, actually. There's a lot of weird instances, like why did they do it here? Like, and furthermore, I don't even know why they did it. Like, I would be really curious if someone could explain why dither blending, or why that dither blending effect was used in or high res, whatever you want to call it. Like why use that and not just the normal transparency effect? And a lot of the places where it's used, it's like this thing doesn't need to be transparent, but it's I don't know, it's weird. So yeah, it was cool to see that. I don't know if they've ever done that before. To be honest, I don't even know if that's like an emulator feature. Like is that a common emulator feature? Like, for all I know, Kevtris might have invented that. I mean, I'm guessing no. I'm guessing that was already an established concept. But it's the only game I know of that uses that trick.
I'm like dangerously close to being dead here. I'm trying not to die. So I have to start the whole level over again.
I mean, that, you know, like, transparencies can be computationally complex. I mean, I've been unclear if it's, like, free on Super Nintendo.
Right.
Like, I don't know. Like, I
There's
thought
a really
it was
good
like
video.
Essentially a free
I got
hardware.
a chance to... I saw, like, a portion of it today about, like scrolling texture maps or scrolling assets or something in Mario Galaxy. I can't think of what the specific name of it was. Where it like kind of gets into like explaining how displacement maps work and stuff. It was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I subscribed to the person's channel after I watched it.
We haven't tried like the Hyperkin HDMI cables or
Although
anything
you
like
did
that.
just get...
I did just get. I mean, this will be a mini subject, you know, in the near future. We did just get. What's it called? I'm drawing a blank on what it's called.
Don't you have them like right over there?
It's not right here.
It's the PSP.
I think it's Level Hike.
Level Hike, yeah.
I mean, I won't. I mean, I barely tested them. In part because 2 of the 4 that were sent turned out to be systems that I can't use. One was for TurboGrafx and it doesn't fit in a PC engine. And the other is Neo Geo, which I don't have. But I tested the PSP one and the Saturn one. And
you weren't super impressed.
I mean, I don't want to say too much right now, but there's definitely, it's very close to being kind of good.
Yeah.
But there is kind of a critical flaw. They could have, I would suspect, have been easily avoided. PSP is interesting though because it does scale it. It's got a physical switch on it.
Yeah.
It does make it
if
big.
you turn off the interlacing, it'd be good. You said, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what you would do for PSP. Anyway.
Right.
I haven't tested PS1 games on it though because my PS1 games are currently linked to my PSP Go. It's such a pain to. My systems are hacked, so I can't just put whatever I want on it.
Right.
And the cable won't work with a PSP Go because that's a completely different cable.
Oh, I see. Okay. But you have some physical games you can always try it on.
Oh, sure. But I can't try PS1. Is what I mean. Without going through some hoops, which I would probably do for, if we were going to do. I mean, we're definitely going to do a minigun.
Yeah. Guy Manley, we stream every Sunday night.
Yep. Every Sunday night at 9.
It's very close to being kind of good.
Like, I mean, I did not do rigorous testing. At a glance, the color looked good. I mean, I'm not going to spoil it, but there's something that might not bother just like the target audience for these things, but it would bother the average viewer of our show. I'll say that. How many cotton games have you beaten? I want to play them, but I don't think I've even tried one. They look awesome though.
I haven't beaten any. I mean, I played 2, but I don't.
Do you own any?
I don't.
I mean, is there one that is not expensive?
Yeah.
I don't even know. If
I want to get 2 for the Saturn. That's when I played the most, probably.
Oh, we got $5 from Red Wolfie.
Thank you.
Thanks to you two gaming wizards for educating us plebs. You find ways of making retro gaming exciting again. Well, we don't make the ways to make it exciting again. We just talk to people and make it exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what the documentary series still does not have a name, but like kind of the way that I've thought of the people that we've talked to for the documentary series that we've interviewed, like the word that keeps coming to mind, I actually included at one point in the script, is they're like the stewards of vintage consoles, like Nintendo, Sega, Sony, NEC, everyone, whoever made these systems,
right?
They're retired, they're discontinued, but then these are the people who have kind of become the caretakers of these systems. They're the ones who have kept them alive, and not only kept them alive, but advanced them as well.
Right.
You know, in the absence of their original creators. So, you know, that's kind of how I've been thinking of these people. And like that kind of came to mind when I was like trying to think of a title, but like steward is like not a very title-y word.
Yeah.
It's not an exciting
like
word
an
at all.
Episode name. But it's not what I would
Yeah.
Series.
Yeah.
For sure.
Retro revivers. The problem is like in writing the series, I've very intentionally tried to avoid the word retro except where appropriate.
Yeah. Do you use vintage ever?
I use vintage a lot.
Okay.
I kind of jump back and forth between vintage.
If you're still watching, SS Jan will be happy about it.
Oh. I've been trying to jump, like, I've mostly been jumping back and forth between, like, vintage, classic, and old. But, I mean, you have a point where you have said that, you know, like, retro means that it is something new, styled in the ways of the past.
Exactly.
You know, Shovel Knight is retro.
Yeah.
River City Girls is retro.
Right.
But it is not an actual old thing. You know, River City Ransom is vintage.
Right.
Or classic. You know, I feel like if you're talking about vintage, it has to be like the actual thing. Like the NES cartridge of River City Ransom is vintage. But I have referred to, though, in the script that like retro is like become a aesthetic unto itself in modern gaming. So I say that, but when referring to the actual old things, I've tried to avoid the word retro. But the problem is, I almost feel like if the word retro is not in the series title, that we're going to be missing a big part of the audience, like, because they're not like, what are you going to title this that is going to make people understand what this is about? Because retro is the word people use, and that's probably the word that I use in my everyday casual conversation. Like, I'll say, "Oh, I'm going to a retro game store,"
Right.
Even though it's a store that sells vintage video games, but I call it a retro game store. I mean, in my everyday life, that is the word that I tend to use.
Right.
I'm trying to use and I don't really shy away from it necessarily in normal scripts. But like, since like this is a documentary, I'm trying to write it on a higher level, I guess. Like, I'm not trying to be like stuffy or anything. Like it's a slightly more formal tone of writing than our normal episodes. But I'm not like getting so.
Donated $5 says in 30 years, River City Girls will be vintage retro. Thank you.
But I lost my train of thought. No. Yeah, it's like a slightly more formal tone of writing, but like I'm not being like so formal that I'm like only referring to like the people by their last names or something like that. Like, most of the time, like if we're talking about Kevtris, like most of the time, like when we first introduce him, it's like Kevin Horton, blah 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 blah. Right. then after that, most of the time I just say, Kevin did this, Kevin did that.
Right.
You
don't use a lot of the online handles though.
No, I've been avoiding that. At the beginning.
You say they are known online as this.
Right. In the Kevtris episode, I do at the very beginning refer to him as Kevtris. Because I'm like, here, this is the name that he's known by, essentially. And then I get into, Kevin Horton was born in 1973 near Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Right.
So then, but then after that point, it's like Kevin from there on.
Yeah.
And the interviews, like people use a mix of Kevin and Kevtris and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like most of the time it's like, Bob Neal, blah, 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 but then it's just Bob.
Right.
Dan Kuntz makes a lot of open source.
Oh, geez,
projects,
I gotta find a
blah,
boss.
blah, blah, blah. And then it's Dan from there on, So I'm not being like that formal.
But our coverage of these events will continue. Because, yes, the pen is still mightier than the sword.
Guy Manley, I don't know if the River City Girls open pre-order is still open, but all Switch games on limited run are open pre-order for like a set period of time, like 2 weeks.
Right.
I think sometimes it's more than 2 weeks. So like I think a lot of people who are like very anti-limited run don't know that Switch games and PS4 games that also have a Switch version that they're selling at the same time, those games are always open pre-order. Yes, obviously a limited number will be made, but there's no rush to get it. Yeah, okay. Russian Morgan says it's open. He bought it like 20 minutes ago, so
yeah.
you can still order it. Plus, the Asia version and maybe the Japanese version. I don't know. That's available through like Play Asia and probably on like Amazon Japan
later.
I know at least the version that Play Asia was selling, they were saying was multi-language. I'm assuming that applies. I don't know if that's just the Asia version or also the Japanese version, but.
It says, later, Hollywood would bring his thrilling story to life in the blockbuster action biopic Metal Wolf, which topped the box office charts for 42 weeks. Won multiple Oscars. Naturally, the film's theme song and #1 single was penned by international superstar Manny Gold, one of Beverly Hills' own.
By the way, Jody, what happened with yesterday's email?
This is funny.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah. Don't worry. It's not like stuffy or anything. Like, I mean, we're gonna wear T-shirts and when we're out for our stand-up thing. I mean, at the end, we're talking about freaking video games. Like, let's not be too formal.
That's all said and done.
But I'm just trying to be a little, when I'm writing like scripts for normal episodes, I'll do things like, well, blah 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 blah. I try to write, kind of, casual, because I think of myself as the casual person. But for this, I'm, it's not exactly writing that you would want to, put on your college essay, but it's like maybe ever so slightly closer to that than our normal episodes. I just said a little bit ago that there is no title for the documentary series yet. That's been a real struggle. I just don't know what to call it. I can tell you what the subjects are. It's 5 parts.
I'm gonna save it.
and we interviewed like, I want to say like 12 different people who are involved with the retro tech scene. And the first part is it's kind of an overview of the vintage gaming and classic gaming worlds. Episode 2 is about original hardware and mods, like playing on it, keeping it alive, people that have developed mods and things like that. Part 3 is about preservation and replication, which I'm define replication as any sort of substitute for the original systems or original games. So, you know, clone consoles, FPGAs, emulation, flashcards, stuff like that. Part 4 is kind of like focusing just on like taking a comprehensive look at one contributor to one major contributor to the vintage tech world, which is Kevtris. So it's kind of like, okay, we've kind of looked at the basics. Now let's look at like one guy. And then part 5 is going to then kind of zoom back out and be more about how people can contribute to the scene. So it's going to be a lot about open source, a lot about you know, how to kick your project off the ground. You know, if you wanted to create something and potentially sell it, like what are maybe some of the things you don't know about, and you know, and kind of just some of the community aspects of it and stuff. So
right, I don't know, there's a blaze attack that I could use.
But that's the gist of it. So it's going to be, you know, 5 parts, and the plan is to release them on 5 consecutive Sundays. So it's going to be a 5-week-long mini-series event. It is taking a lot of work to get to this point, and it's still going to take just a little longer.
I think it'll be cool.
I'm excited for it. And we're definitely going to like try to get Blu-rays of it out as soon as possible as well.
Right. And we should have Blu-rays of the M2 thing, hopefully soon. We were hoping we'd have them for Retro World, but it didn't come to pass. But I do understand that they are becoming, like, they're getting into people's hands now in terms of the limited edition of that. So that's cool to see. So I'm excited for us to have standalone copies of it to sell as well. I think there's a lot of people that didn't buy the limited edition, just wanted the Blu-ray. So hopefully that'll be something that people are into. We still are on Amazon Prime. I still have to do seasons 4 and 5. Like there's several episodes I still got a subtitle from those 2 seasons, but that is, I mean, I'll have to find time to do that. I can usually do like 1 a day, really, if I wanted to. So maybe I should try to do that. I'll upload, maybe I'll work on that tomorrow, during a portion of tomorrow. Well, is that going to do it for this week?
I guess so.
I think so. I'm gonna.
Thanks everyone donated and watched.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
And watched
I'm
the
definitely
Mega
gonna continue
SD
this.
episode.
Really quick, I see that we got Video Game Obsession in the chat, and he's the one that posted pictures on Facebook that made me think, well, maybe I should start getting the smaller grid as well. I have one more big grid to get, and that's Dick Tracy. So I'm on the lookout for it on eBay and stuff. I don't want to pay $50 for it, so I'm gonna kind of wait it out and see if I can find like a better price for it. That is the last one, because I have the Japanese version of it, and they're identical basically as far as I know. So I would just be getting it just to complete that set. But all right, thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next week. Good night.